Tonight on CTV News, Roger Sutton's sexual harassment case continues. We go inside the Isaac Theatre Royal for the first time, and dozens march through Hagley Park to improve their health.
Broadcasting across Canterbury, from the CTV studio, this is First at 5.
Good evening, welcome to CTV News. The State Services Commissioner has announced a replacement for Roger Sutton as Interim Chief Executive of CERA. John Ambler will take over the role from the 1st of December. He'll fill the role for 6 months until a permanent Chief Executive is appointed. Roger Sutton has taken leave after Monday's resignation. He will remain an employee of CERA until the end of January, but will not be based in the CERA offices until during the transition. As more confidential information is leaked about Roger Sutton's sexual harassment claim against the Chief Executive, what do people in Christchurch think about the incident? Gordon Finlater has more.
The latest fallout in the Roger Sutton sexual harassment saga continued today with fresh allegations that Sutton made sexually suggestive comments about Prime Minister John Key's wife, Brona. We took to the streets to ask locals if they felt the woman who made the sexual harassment complaint against Roger Sutton was brave for doing so.
Yes, I do. And I think that Roger Sutton's probably got very good PR people working for him. I actually feel really bad for the person because it's been twisted a bit that it's all focused on him and not on the victim.
Yeah, I do think so. Yeah, I do think she was brave to do that, yes. But we don't really know what it is yet, do we?
I guess she was brave. But we haven't had enough information anyway.
When asked if anyone had approached him to say his behaviour made them feel uncomfortable, Mr Sutton said no. Many of the people we spoke to believe a direct approach could have been the best solution.
I think it should have been better to have talked to Roger first, and then, if there was necessity, carry it on afterwards, but not the way it's been done. It's ruined a man for no reason, really.
I think what they should do, she should have gone to him and said, look, you know, I don't like that idea of what you're saying, so just please leave it alone and cut it out, and then things would be okay.
Very definitely. I think it's very easy to stop something right at the start, and certainly that's the way I would see it, that, you know, you show what you think of inappropriateness.
With limited details known about the complaint and the victim upset that Mr Sutton had been able to gain public sympathy, we asked if people felt that Roger Sutton had almost become a victim himself.
I think it has appeared that way. I think I admire his wife standing up for him. She obviously knows him. She knows him well.
Don't think so, no. I mean, I say it to quite a few people. And I don't get any complaints.
It's a very tricky situation. I mean, some people would be offended by it and some people wouldn't be. But the focus has all been on him and how it's affected him rather than on her and how it's affected her, and I think that's not right.
Milk prices continue to slide, but is that a sign of things to come? We have the details. Farmers face another major drop in milk prices. The global dairy trade has hit the lowest point in milk powder prices in 5 years, falling 3.1% overnight, which could leave farmers out of pocket over the next year. Fonterra is forecasting a payout of $5.30, which follows a string of lower prices throughout the year, but commentators believe that payout is unsustainable. A spokesperson for ASB Securities told News Talk ZB that anything over $5 is optimistic. The low price drop is due to too much milk flooding the market. Earlier this year, the dairy giant announced a major partnership with a Chinese infant food manufacturer, promising they would maintain a farm gate price of $6 a kg of milk solids, despite the falling dairy prices. But with major drops overnight, that's unlikely to happen. Whole milk powder dropped by 5.1%, with skim milk powder dropping by 5.7%. The Canterbury Clinical Network estimates 11% of the population doesn't know it suffers from a breathing disease called chronic obstructive pulmonary disease, or COPD. Today, an expo was held in Christchurch to raise awareness of the need for peer support and exercise for those living with the condition.
Pauline Mohi gave up heavy smoking more than 20 years ago, but the effects of her bad habit have caused trouble later in life.
For someone who is told you've got smoker's disease and you haven't smoked for 20 to 25 years, you can't believe you could have such a thing.
Mohi was diagnosed with chronic obstructive pulmonary disease, otherwise known as COPD. It's a lung condition that causes airflow obstruction, making it difficult to breathe. It's more common than you may think, with many sufferers not even aware they have the condition.
They estimate approximately 15% of people over 45 will have COPD, and that's equivalent to around 25,000 people in Canterbury, but only about half of them will know it. And so often people don't know that they have the disease, so it's really important that we get it diagnosed early, so that's why we're trying to raise awareness.
Today is International COPD Day. To raise awareness, Canberra and Asthma New Zealand organised an open day at the Horticultural Hall as well as a fun walk around Hagley Park. COPD is not to be taken lightly, being one of the biggest killers out there.
It is estimated that by 2020, COPD will be the 4th leading cause of death internationally. So it is a significant condition, and it's not well understood.
Symptoms of COPD include breathlessness and an increase of phlegm and mucus, with most sufferers aged over 40.
On a bad day, somebody might be really breathless and just simply can't do everyday things like their washing, cooking, ironing, household stuff.
Being a lung condition, it's not hard to guess what the leading cause of the condition is.
Smoking is the major cause of COPD. The majority of people who have it is caused by smoking, but not all smokers will get COPD. So, and a small number is caused by other occupational or genetic issues.
Once you have COPD, it is possible for the symptoms to cease with a healthy lifestyle, including regular exercise, and yes, you guessed it, giving up smoking.
When you're suggested that you go along and do a pulmonary rehab exercise, you think that's a bit rich, I can't breathe now, why would I want to go and do exercises when I find it so hard? However, it's absolutely brilliant.
And that's Pauline's message for those thinking of picking up the bad habit.
Absolutely don't smoke, and that the message some of us think we've got right, that if you do stop, your lungs will be right, is wrong.
Today's walk through the Botanic Gardens marks the second time the day has been recognised in Canterbury. Tuasa Toimoana, CTV News.
It is estimated that the amount of freight going through Canterbury will double by 2044. Key organisations have released a strategy to deal with this increase. Here's the details.
A group of leading freight, infrastructure, travel and council organisations is planning for an estimated doubling of freight volumes through Canterbury in the next 30 years. The group's partners, which includes New Zealand Transport Agency, Kiwi Rail, Littleton Port, Christchurch International Airport and Sarah, as well as the Christchurch, Selwyn, Waimakariri and Canterbury councils, has released a strategy to deal with the substantial growth. Key issues identified include congestion on Christchurch's Braham Street and growth constraints at existing rail yards. Problems with connections to Littleton Port due to the current closure of the Sumner Road Evans Pass route caused by earthquake damage was also considered. These measures will be developed further by the partners through relevant district recovery and development plans.
Still to come, a Spraydon pensioner becomes the first tenant to try out the suburb's new lower density homes built by Housing New Zealand, and a look through the newly reopened Isaac Theatre Royal.
Blue Star Taxis has been servicing the Canterbury region for over 80 years. Canterbury owned and operated with the passion for providing safe, reliable public transport in Christchurch to Cantabrians and visitors to our city. Home safe every time with Blue Star Taxis.
Come on down to Ferrymead Golf. Care for a game of paintball? How about some swings on the old driving range? Or on our par 3 9-hole golf course? Test your skills on the mini golf course or have a go at the airgun shooting range. Then relax at the Wow Cafe with one of our super succulent Wow Burgers. Whether you want to perfect your swing or are looking for a fun family day out, come down to Ferrymead Golf, 50 Ferrymead Park Drive, right next to the Ferrymead Heritage Park.
Potholes. To some, a simple hole in the ground, causing no harm and no concern. But don't let that fool you. Potholes are dangerous. Did you know potholes have been linked to numerous nasty falls and flat tires? So if you have a pothole situation on your property, don't panic. Call the Pothole Repair Company. They'll fix your potholes in a jiffy. So next time you see a pothole on your driveway or in your car park, call the Pothole Repair Company.
My son's helped me greatly with my independence now that I've got more mobility.
Mum, I've been looking into stand assist chairs from More Mobility. They recline back with a footrest, then when you want to get out of them, they stand you up. You can even sleep on them. More Mobility can bring one out for a free trial. There's even electric beds too. What do you think? For more range and more expert advice, see More Mobility, corner Clarence and Princess Streets off Blenheim Road.
What a difference More Mobility makes.
Welcome back. 4 years on from the Christchurch earthquakes, roadworks changing at a moment's notice and nothing new to drivers in Christchurch. But one of the busiest roads in Riccarton has reopened ahead of schedule. Here's more on the story.
A busy bridge in the city has reopened last night after undergoing repairs for the past several weeks. The closure of Kahu Road cut off a major thoroughfare into the city for commuters travelling from Fendalton, Riccarton and Ilam. Up to 10 contractors worked on site, including bricklayers, scaffolders and people looking after a dam on the river. The repairs cost around $350,000. The top and sides of the bridge have been rebuilt, costing $100,000. Crews worked throughout show weekend to have the road open by this week. However, the speed limit will be 40 km per hour until the brick sides of the bridge are fully repaired. Skirt says the work should be completed by Christmas. In the meantime, drivers are being asked to take special care as cyclists will be merged with traffic while repairs continue. Fendalton Road is next on Skirt's list. Repairs to the bridge near Christchurch Girls High School will begin from Monday, with westbound traffic reduced to one lane. Repairs are expected to be completed by February.
It's nearly summer again, and every year volunteer surf lifesavers patrol beaches, keeping a vigilant eye out to keep swimmers safe. Patrol season begins again this weekend. Gordon Finlater has the details.
The region's lifesavers begin patrolling our beaches from this weekend. Volunteer lifeguards from Taylor's Mistake, Sumner, South Brighton, New Brighton, North Beach, Waimari, Spencer Park and Waikuku Beach will now patrol weekends throughout summer until the 8th of March. During an average season, around 1,200 people are rescued from life-threatening situations at New Zealand beaches. This season, around 4,000 volunteer lifeguards will spend over 200,000 hours keeping a watchful eye over the 80 beaches throughout the country. Patrols in Christchurch run on Saturdays between 1 p.m. and 5 p.m. and on Sundays between 11 a.m. and 5 p.m. Swimmers are reminded to swim between the flags.
Christchurch's Isaac Theatre Royal reopened following considerable refurbishment after the earthquakes. It's one of the few heritage buildings restored in the CBD following the disaster. CTV took a look at its new and old look. A frantic final dash to have one of Christchurch's most historic buildings reopened in time, only being given the certificate of public use hours before the curtains opened.
When those documents arrived at about 4:30 on Monday, cutting it to the bone. But hey, look, I mean, it's drama, isn't it? It's a theatre, so if you didn't cut it to the bone, no fun.
Workers crawling all over the site on the long weekend, scrambling to finish off last-minute touches to the Isaac Theatre Royal, which has been almost completely rebuilt since the 2011 earthquake left it structurally damaged.
If people had walked in on Friday, they would have been like, nah, that's not going to be finished. So to get it to where we did on Monday is a tribute to everyone involved.
And hundreds flooded through the doors on opening night for the performance of Kostroma. And while the show was the main attraction, it was what above them which caught their eye. A decade-old painting painting, which was salvaged from the old quake-damaged theatre.
This is pretty impressive, so that's all original up there, isn't it?
That's our main thing. I mean, we've got about 3 original pieces left from the very, very, very first days, which is the theatre was built in 1906 and 1907. So the dome, obviously, the canvas painting was hand-painted in 1907, and it was on a plaster sort of dome situation. We've changed that and significantly upgraded it. It's now got carbon fibre behind it, so if anything happens again to any part of the dome, we can unbolt segments of it now and take it down and restore those segments.
Being an original piece of the theatre for more than a decade, it was around in the days when audiences were allowed to smoke inside.
It had 100 years of nicotine and grime and dust and everything caked on it as well, so it's been a massive restoration. So it's looking as good now as the day it was painted.
And along with restoring the old came rebuilding the new.
So this is one of the newer features of the building, isn't it?
It's one of my favourite features, to actually have an elevator to go to different places. We'll press a button because that's a good thing. So it gets people to every level. Before it just used to be a staircase, and that was the toughest thing, but you can see yourself go through the different levels, and then we arrive at my favourite new bit of the theatre. This is the Grand Circle.
This grand circle, part of the upgrade of the theatre. These cheap seats are now becoming some of the best in the house.
It's a whole new space, so it means that people in the top level have as good as experience as the other levels of the theatre, and it should be that way. It should be an enjoyment to come here, not a trudge to get to the top.
But it was touch and go to fund the entire project. All up, it cost $40 million. But in February, it needed $8 million to fill the shortfall.
We'd applied for a lottery grant, and we'd asked for $7.5 million. And then the last day of February, we got a phone call to say we got 6 of it, so we were pretty stoked.
The theatre is now preparing for the Royal New Zealand Ballet to take the stage later this week. Emma Cropper, CTV News. Housing New Zealand has planned the build of 700 new, higher density houses for Christchurch. One local woman was given a sneak preview of her home before moving in. Carol Cooper is one of Housing New Zealand's tenants. She's been living in the Spraydon area for more than 2 decades. This new house making it easier for her day-to-day living.
You know, I'm closer to the doctor, closer to the supermarket, and the change will be really good. Looking forward to it.
Carol's hoping to be within her new home by Christmas. Social Housing Minister Paula Bennett taking her for a walk through one of the homes ahead of it being completed. These units have been converted from a section with a 1 3-bedroom house on it into a 5 2-bedroom self-contained units.
So that just means we've got easier living for people that really need it, that makes sense.
The houses are the new higher density designs as part of the key government's new Housing New Zealand model. The price tag to build each unit comes at an average of $250,000.
It's huge. So most of it, of course, came from insurance. So that has covered most of the cost. Really, it's our ability to get the consents up, to get the construction going, and how quickly we can get that.
It's a step in the right direction to help with the homeless situation in Canterbury. But Minister Bennett believes it's not enough to entirely fix the issue.
It never will, really, so we've just got so much work to do in so many different areas. So social housing where people will never own, and we just need to have them tenanted and looked after and make sure that we're giving them a really affordable rent.
Housing New Zealand's been tasked with the job of repairing its housing stock damaged following the earthquake. The agency reached the halfway mark last month, completing 2,500 of its repairs.
We're well and truly on track for getting those houses built for Housing New Zealand and for their tenants, which is most important. And this is a great example of what we can do.
Minister Bennett says they're on track to have completed 700 more by the end of 2015. Emma Cropper, CTV News. Still to come, your region's weather.
My son's helped me greatly with my independence now that I've got more mobility.
Mum, I've been looking into stand assist chairs from More Mobility. They recline back with a footrest, then when you want to get out of them, they stand you up. You can even sleep on them. More Mobility can bring one out for a free trial. There's even electric beds too. What do you think? For more range and more expert advice, see More Mobility, corner Clarence and Princess Streets off Blenheim Road.
What a difference more mobility makes.
Come on down to Ferrymead Golf. Care for a game of paintball? How about some swings on the old driving range? Or on our par 3 9-hole golf course? Test your skills on the mini golf course or have a go at the airgun shooting range. Then relax at the Wow Cafe with one of our super succulent Wow Burgers. Whether you want to perfect your swing or are looking for a fun family day out, come down to Ferrymead Golf, 50 Ferrymead Park Drive, right next to the Ferrymead Heritage Park.
Potholes. To some, a simple hole in the ground, causing no harm and no concern. But don't let that fool you. Potholes are dangerous. Did you know potholes have been linked to numerous nasty falls and flat tires? So if you have a pothole situation on your property, don't panic. Call the Pothole Repair Company. They'll fix your potholes in a jiffy. So next time you see a pothole on your driveway or in your car park, call the Pothole Repair Company.
3799799. Remember the nights, go Blue Star.
Blue Star Taxis has been servicing the Canterbury region for over 80 years. Canterbury owned and operated with the passion for providing safe, reliable public transport in Christchurch to Cantabrians and visitors to our city. Home safe every time with Blue Star Taxis.
Welcome back. When Christchurch's Flockton Basin flooded earlier this year, a number of options were put to the community to prevent the problem from happening again.
The Christchurch City Council is reminding residents that this is the last week to have a say on how to reduce flooding risk in the Flockton Basin area. The council's preferred option would see the compulsory purchase of at least 2 properties and the partial purchase in a number of other locations in the Dudley Creek catchment area. The council says this would remediate the area's flood risk to being the same or slightly better than before the Canterbury earthquakes, benefiting at least 585 properties in the area. The public consultation closes at 5 p.m. on Wednesday, the 26th of November.
While some win money punting during race week, the race jockeys and riders also take a cut of the winnings. And this year, some did better than ever before. Here's more on the story.
The Canterbury Jockey Club made an on-course turnover at Saturday's Cup Day races of just over $1 million, similar to 2013 and 2012, but down on the previous 4-year average of $1.4 million. The on-course revenue is made from TAB punters, with the Jockey Club receiving 17 cents per betting dollar. The Saturday crowd of 31,000, far larger than any other Canterbury Gallops meeting, was causing traffic jams at alcohol checkpoints near Riccarton Park. With the event being a social gathering and not all racegoers guaranteed to be punting, racing clubs are keen to find ways beyond the horses for income. The Canterbury Jockey Club completely sold out their $190 mini marquee tickets, as well as car parks and the entertainment area. At Addington, the week's turnover of $10 million was up 20% on last year and the second best in the past 20 years. A crowd of 25,000 at Tuesday's New Zealand Trotting Cup helped betting turnover increase to just under $2 million.
Time now for your region's weather.
Down in Timaru, 19 degrees down there for you. Temuka and Geraldine both on 19 degrees. Ashburton, 19 degrees down your way. Methven had a warm 20 degrees. Rakaia on 19 degrees. Darfield, a lovely 20 degrees for you today. Leeston and Rolleston also on 20 degrees. Lincoln had a high of 20 degrees today. Christchurch, a warm day on 21 degrees. And Akaroa also a cosy 21 degrees for your Wednesday. Looking out north of the Waimakariri River, Kaipoi, Rangiora and Amberley all on 21 degrees today. Taking a look further inland, Culverden and Hanmer Springs both on 19 degrees today and 19 degrees in Cheviot. And up along the east coast, Kaikoura received a high of 21 degrees. Let's take a close look at the weather for Thursday. Not much to report for Timaru. Expect fine and sunny weather with moderate northeasterly winds developing. Tonight's overnight low at 2 degrees, tomorrow's high 17 degrees. Clear skies for Ash Vegas with high cloud increasing later on in the day and the usual northeasterly breezes developing. Tonight's low will be at just 2 degrees, tomorrow's high looking better on 17 degrees. It's a chilly start for Ototahi, but warming up through the day with northeasterly breezes and sunshine about. Tonight's low dropping to just 2 degrees and tomorrow's high 17 degrees for Thursday. Up along the east coast, a fine and sunny day for Kaikoura with moderate northeasterly winds developing. Tonight's low the same for you with 2 degrees and tomorrow's high 17 degrees. The rest of Canterbury can expect fine temperatures for Thursday, although temperatures will be chilly overnight. Temuka and Geraldine, a high of 18 degrees tomorrow with 1 degree overnight. Methven and Darfield, you can expect 18 degrees with a low of 1 degree overnight. 17 degrees is expected in Rakaia. Leaston, Rolleston and Lincoln can expect just 2 degrees overnight with a high of 17 tomorrow. And over in Akaroa, 17 degrees is your expected high. Looking north, a fine day for Kaipoi, Rangiora and Amberley, all on 17 degrees. Colwyn, Hamner Springs and Cheviot, 18 degrees with a low of 1 degree overnight. Let's take a look at the weather ahead for Canterbury. Looking fine with high cloud increasing and warm northwesterlies freshening on Friday, although those cold southwesterlies and showers are set to develop during the evening. This means that Saturday will be fairly dismal with some showers or light rain at times and light winds tending northeasterly. A period of more widespread rain Saturday night with southwesterlies developing. Showers will carry over to Sunday morning but will clear. Skies remaining mostly cloudy though and temperatures cool with light southerly winds. Looking ahead to Monday, mostly fine and sunny with moderate northeasterlies. Fine with high cloud increasing on Tuesday and northwesterlies freshening, strong and gusty from evening. That's your weather update for Wednesday. Have a great evening.
Before we leave tonight, we take another look at the reopened and refurbished Isaac Theatre Royal. And that's CTV News for Wednesday. I'm Emma Cropper. Good night.
Supporting local content so you can see more of New Zealand on air.